Here with reaction, Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Senator, I know an officer was shot in your home state of Texas. I understand by an illegal immigrant. Is that true, sir?
No, that's exactly right. It was an illegal immigrant. It was a Venezuelan who was actually set to be deported, and then a judge delayed the deportation, and he went out with a rifle and shot a San Antonio police officer. And this is happening. You know, I always enjoy your monologue, Sean, but tonight was powerful. It's important to go through the victims, because this is something I said in Milwaukee at the convention. It is every damn day. Every day, someone is being shot. Every day, a woman is being raped. Every day, a child is being assaulted by illegal immigrants that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have released. And every one of our families are at greater jeopardy because they keep releasing violent criminals into our communities.
I've talked to Laken Riley's family. I've talked to Jocelyn Nungari's family. As you know, they were on this program. I talked to her grandfather, too, and her mother. I've talked to Rachel Morin's family, the mother of 5. These families are never going to be the same. What's so infuriating about this, Senator, well, there are a couple of things. All of it's preventable. Nobody in the media seems to care. The people that, you know, will take one murder, one case and run with it, and every life matters. All of a sudden, if it's the summer of 2020 and she's tweeting out a bail fund, that doesn't matter. A bail fund that lets out murderers, or, you know, the summer of 2020 riots, all of this, all these deaths by illegal immigrants they've allowed in the country. We don't hear about their names. We don't meet their families. We don't hear about their lives. Why?
Look, you're exactly right. I've been with Jocelyn Nungari's mom, with her grandfather, her mom Alexis, her grandfather Kelvin. The pain, the agony. You and I are both fathers. There's nothing worse on earth than to lose a child, except maybe to lose a child in these circumstances where you know the horrors of your daughter's last moment on earth. And these are happening day after day after day. And I'm going to say something that sounds harsh, but Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, my opponent, Colin Allred, they do not care. Now, why do I say that? Because if they cared, they would change the policies that are making this happen. They would stop today releasing another illegal who's going to kill someone tomorrow. And they keep doing it day after day after day. So when someone is killed, when a child is assaulted, they say, I care. I'm so sorry about it. But no, they don't if they keep recreating the problem. And Sean, the only reason they will not change it, listen, we've had 11.5 million illegal immigrants enter under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Kamala wants that 11.5 million to be 20 million, to be 30 million, to be 40 million, because she looks at them as future Democrat voters. And it is the most cynical transaction. They want votes and they want power. And if our children have to be at risk, if our family have to be at jeopardy, they're willing to make that trade-off. And I got to say, in terms of public safety, that and the threat of terrorism for open border, I think those are the most compelling issues on the ballot in November.
You know, I'm going to raise your harsh, and I'll say it. I've said it before. I'll say it again, and I'll say it every day till Election Day. They have blood on their hands, Senator. They've allowed this to happen. They bear responsibility in these crimes, because they lied to us for 3 years. The border's secure, the border's closed. Now, I want to ask you this question, because some people, I've run into people, talk to people every day. I do a 3-hour radio show, as you know. We're on 750 stations. I talk to a lot of people around the country. And, you know, a lot of conservatives, Republicans, oh, no, what is it? What's going to happen? They got rid of the cognitive mess, Joe. Kamala might be harder. I contend this. If America learns the record that I just went through in this monologue, there's no way in hell she would have a chance of ever being president of this country. Now, the media is going to protect her. Democrats are going to defend her. How does I didn't even mention that she surrendered in the war on terror with Israel. I think the answer is making sure, and this is the Trump campaign's job, not mine. They got to make sure America knows the real story of Kamala Harris. And I don't know how they tell that story, but that would be their mission in my view. That's how they win.
Look, I absolutely agree. Joe Biden, for the last 4 years, has been a puppet. He's barely aware of what's going on around him. Others, the radical left interest groups, are pulling his strings. Kamala is very different. She is a true believer. Look, I served in the Senate with Kamala. I know her well. She believes every bit of this. As you know, she was ranked by a nonpartisan tracking service as the single most liberal U.S. senator in the entire body. As you just played, she considers herself a radical. She believes in this and is pushing this. But we've got to make it about her extreme record. And the media, the corporate media, is going to spend billions of dollars doing this PR campaign where they're going to portray her as a mix of Mother Teresa and Oprah and Gandhi, and they're going to do everything they can. They're also going to keep her very, very tightly scripted. Like Joe Biden in the basement, she's going to read from the teleprompter. They don't want her cackling. They don't want her committing gaffes. And it is dangerous. And you're right, it's incumbent on the Trump campaign. It's incumbent on every one of us to focus on her record and to say, listen, the open borders that she champions, does that make your life safer? The out-of-control spending that's driving inflation and the war on energy, does that make your family better? And look, just last week when Benjamin Netanyahu spoke before a joint session of Congress, Kamala Harris boycotted the whole thing because the radical anti-Israel extremism, whereas you just played a minute ago, she says the problem is not the enemies of America that want to kill us. The problem is we need to have the courage not to say the words radical Islamic terrorism. This is a battle for our country, and we got to stand up and speak the truth.
All right, Senator, and your race is very important as well, too. We need you back in the Senate. And I know they've been spending, you're the #1 target at Chuck Schumer, and we need you back in the Senate for sure. We hope people support you.
So go to tedcruz.org, tedcruz.org, tedcruz.org.
All right, Senator, thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.